Hi everyone, welcome to section 7.5, which is the introduction to vectors. I am happy to say that from here on out to the end of the semester, it seems like we go back and forth between an easy section and a more challenging section. And I'm happy to say this is one of the easy sections. So we've already started to talk about vectors before. So let's continue. Vectors are represented differently in different textbooks, but they are usually written in boldface type. However, boldface letters are not practical in handwritten work. Instead, it is customary to place an arrow over a vector. For example, the vector A can also be written as the little a with the arrow over top. As we saw in the last section, there's two ways to describe a vector. The one way is with its magnitude or length and the direction or angle. The other way was with its x and y components. Did you know that you can add and subtract vectors? The easiest way is when the vectors are described with their x and y components. For example, if we have a is equal to the vector -1, 5 and b is equal to the vector -2, 3, how do you think we're going to add the components or add the vectors? And also, how do you think we're going to subtract? So a plus b, a we can replace with -1, 5 and b we can replace with -2, 3. Well, what we do is we add the x values and we add the y values. So -1 plus -2 is -3, and 5 plus 3 is 8. Okay, so, oh shoot, this is supposed to be a subtraction problem. So vector A minus vector B, we'd have -1, 5 minus -2, 3. So -1 minus -2, subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding, so that would be 1. And then 5 minus 3 is 2. So adding and subtracting vectors is pretty intuitive. You just combine the x values and combine the y values, either through addition or subtraction. Okay, well, what about multiplication? Well, we can't multiply one vector times another vector, but we can multiply one vector by a number, like 4 times vector A or -6 times vector B. Well, how do you think we're going to do that? Well, 4 times vector A would be the same thing as 4 times the vector -1, 5. And so if you guessed we just distribute the 4, that's exactly what we do. So 4 times -1 is -4, and 4 times 5 is 20. So we'd have the vector -4, 20. -6 times vector B, we would just take the -6 and distribute. And so -6 times -2 is 12, and -6 times 3 is -18. So the answer would be the vector 12, 18. Well, can we combine adding and subtracting and multiplying? Well, sure we can. So if we have -a plus 2b, well, -a is the same thing as -1 times the vector a, and then plus 2 times vector b, so plus 2 times vector b. So distribute the -1, distribute the 2, and then just add the vectors. So 1 plus -4 is -3, -5 plus 6 is 1.